It has been a while, my friends. I've been absent on this channel for about a month, and it has been a lot more than that since I last sat in front of my iPad and started recording videos. Let me explain. So, I wanted to do a video, and I did a video around the SJW preschool, and I did record that, on the last week of February, and then I had to take a school trip to Yosemite, which is pretty awesome, so I had to postpone the upload to that video, and then I uploaded it as soon as I got back. And I've just kind of been stumped on ideas to make videos about. First I had Article 13, which I was gonna make a video on. However, I was kind of stumped on what to say in that video. Like, I tried recording it, and just no good ideas could come out, nothing that would actually be classified as at least somewhat solid quality content. And then Hunter Avallone got banned from YouTube, and I started doing research, and I even started writing a script for it. But then he got unbanned, thank God. And so I had to scratch that video idea. And because there's not a whole lot of recent stuff going around on the internet, I figured I might as well make a video about something that's a little bit older. Birds in the BS. It's a channel that not a whole lot of people have reacted to. However, there is one video that has been gaining a little bit of traction recently, and so I figured I might as well react to that. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
When you can't make sense of the world today,
ask Mr. Jordan to show you the way.
On the Birds and the BS.
Morning, everyone, and welcome to the Birds and the BS, where we encourage you to actually take the advice you give your children. Today's letter comes from Allie in Alabama. Dear Mr. Jordan, my son is always playing with his gum and spitting it on the floor, so I've made a no gum in the house rule. My daughter says she always uses her gum responsibly, so it's still her right to chew. Should I let my daughter keep her gum? Allie, let me use an analogy to help with this one.
Weren't you already using an analogy?
Imagine for a moment that I am surrounded by people who play with their gun. With these people spitting bullets all over, would my mother still let me keep my gun? Here to answer that question is my favorite mother from live musicals on TV, Anna Gasteyer.
Thank you for having me, Jordan.
So there's two things you can do when you bring up the gun control debate. One, you can act rationally and come up with your own opinions. Or two, you can bring in someone from TV, a frickin' celebrity. Looks like he's doing the second one, whereas I'm doing the first one.
Sit up straight. You look like Shigeru Quasimodo.
If I were using my gun the right way, but others weren't, would you still let me keep mine?
Of course not.
But I didn't do anything wrong.
It's a fair point you make. This was not your mistake. I'm a law-abiding son. Why take away my gun? But as a mother in charge of your fun, the acts of another can ruin it for everyone.
The following statement only holds true in two places: prison and boot camp, and neither are very pleasant places, needless to say.
That's because, as you always say...
This is why we can't have nice assault weapons or you know what, guns of any kind. When it comes to our kids, it's time for us to step in instead of think and pray for peace of mind. Government says sacrifices sometimes should be made in the name of the greater good.
Considering that she's repeating rhetoric that totalitarian governments use, I have a theory that the only reason she doesn't want us to have guns is because the Second Amendment was made for us to protect ourselves from people like her.
Someone tainted Tylenol, they fixed the flaw. There was one shoe bomb, and they changed the law. And when guns kill kids, that's the final...
Second Amendment.
That's exactly what they always do. They shoot us down by invoking the Second Amendment.
Like any rational person would.
Don't they understand how much there is to lose? There are lives at stake and don't forget whose. Nothing's more important than the safety of a child. So time to take your guns and the rhetoric you stockpile.
Whoa, that's pretty radical. Most of us are against assault weapons, but even we liberals can't go after the Second Amendment itself.
Why not?
I mean, we just don't.
That is literally the most piss-poor defense for the Second Amendment I have ever fucking seen.
It's always, look, we're not saying we're coming for your guns.
Actually, now we are.
Wait, really?
This is why we can't have compromise.
Sorry to come back so soon, but I don't think she understands what compromise means. In a compromise, there is always something in it for everyone. But with a gun ban, there's only something in it for the people who want guns to be banned, or at least heavily restricted.
I understand you think that hunting's neat, but sometimes our pastimes jeopardize our lives, which matter more than your precious skeet.
This is why she's anti-gun. She thinks the Second Amendment is for hunting. Well, anyone who's taken 5th grade history knows that it's not for hunting, it's to protect us from radical governments.
I understand you really had a ball. Then one lone wolf went and ruined it all. And by one, I mean 96 deaths a day.
I don't think she realizes that 96 deaths a day statistic can easily be narrowed down to about 30 if we exclude suicides. And most of those deaths by gun violence are actually gang violence in liberal-run cities.
So even though there are a lot of people who use guns responsibly, the fun we get to have with them isn't worth the destruction they cause.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of things we do that with.
Like lawn darts,
Uh-huh.
Sudafed, and adopted animals are harder to get than a gun because of the actions of a few.
Exactly.
But what about safety? And guns for protection?
Allow me to issue a logic correction. A gun beneath your pillow makes you feel secure. Till you think your granny's a burglar, then it loses its allure. They say a good guy with a gun could stop a bad guy with a gun.
But neither has to die if neither one has one.
So, Anna Gasteyer, allow me to issue you a logic correction. So, the whole granny supposedly being a burglar argument can easily be debunked by something that just about every gun owner in the world does, and it's called check your fire. And, if a gun ban were to be issued, pretty much every good person would be disarmed, and only the criminals would have guns, because most criminals get their guns illegally, despite what some leftists in the comments might say.
I only wonder how these men will find their sense of self-worth and masculinity without their pew-pew.
Who you are as a man isn't found in your gun, and who we are as a country should be safe for everyone. Australians stayed butch after their overhaul.
Then they bring up Australia. I was kind of waiting for this part because I do have a pretty brilliant counter-argument prepared, and that's that Australia's buyback only covered what the left would classify as assault weapons, which made up around a third of Australia's total guns. So Australia, to begin with, kept more than half their guns, and even before the buyback, gun crime was already decreasing at a similar rate. And after the buyback, gun crime might have decreased, however violent crimes with other objects such as knives and cars did increase. And even today, with Australia being a much safer place, yes, I would agree with that, Australia does have more guns than before the buyback, so it kinda does make sense.
So if you're a macho prick, you can stay one after all. Take us home!
This is why we can't have Rambo teachers.
This is why we can't have dummy leaders. This is why we can't have not nice things. And when the government needs to be overthrown, get your ass out and vote, cause we can't do this alone.
Tell that to the victims of the Holocaust or Stalin's purge of Russia.
That's all for today, folks. Allie, tell your daughter she can play with her bazooka gum all she wants, as long as she joins the March for Our Lives. And join us next time when we'll send our thoughts and prayers that Marco Rubio wakes up to find his balls between his legs instead of his gun. Till then,
This is why we can't have the Electoral College.
So they finished by taking their jabs at Marco Rubio, Trump, the NRA, and the Electoral College. That's it for their video. However, I found the ending a little bit weird and logic-wise, because if you compare their gum argument to their gun argument, with guns and gum, both, at the beginning, someone uses it irresponsibly. However, with the gum, we're allowed to keep it. With the guns, we're not. That was kind of weird logic, considering the gum argument did drive us into the gun argument. But anyways, that's all for today, folks. I'm gonna have to get some more gameplay going. Of course, you gotta thank Star Snipe for that. Please subscribe to him. Sorry for last time when I forgot to put his channel and the video link in the description. I'll do that for sure this time. But anyways, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Reddit. All be in the links in the description down below. I'm gonna create a subreddit soon. I'm also gonna create a website. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Like this video. And as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.